We've already seen this.
Beauty. In pain, there is healing. And in darkness, there is hope.
What is going on?
Isaiah's
everybody,
back!
and welcome to the 10.5 update show. My name's Isaiah, and I'm going to be your host today. Dandy is out on a very much well-deserved vacation, so your boy is back, and it's been a hot minute since I've been on one of these, and I'm super excited because we have so much to go over. We've got some balance, we've got some really cool quality of life changes and bug fixes to talk about, we've got some changes to some game modes, and then some awesome skins, including the Virtuoso crossover event that we announced yesterday. You've got some amazing skins in that event that we're going to be showing to you all today, and we're super excited. But if you somehow missed our announcement, we've got a really cool trailer for you to check out. So we'll see you on the other side.
Look at it all burn!
They fucked up by giving the biggest one of these VTubers the Persephone skin.
I'm very scared. Imagine not being in Grandmasters. Did you wake up, Cringy? Is that already? Oh.
That's right. Virtuoso is making their
am
way
very
to
interested
Smite
to see
in the
who buys all
10.5
this.
update. We're going to break it all down for you. And here to break it down with me, I've got Lermy here, our resident VTuber. We've also got a couple of very special guests joining us for this Virtuoso crossover event skin segment. We have got Iron Mouse and Fruit joining us. How are you all doing today?
Yay! Hello!
Hello.
What's going on, Iron Mouse and Fruit? You all doing all right today?
Yeah. I'm having a good time. I'm just really nervous.
Yeah,
Oh,
me
that's
too.
fine.
I'm
That's fine.
really nervous.
You all are amazing at what you do. No need to be nervous. The Smite community is super welcoming. I know Apricot was streaming some Smite yesterday, getting some
Yes.
dubs in, getting some practice
Yes.
in.
I'm trying to learn my character.
Learn your-
talking
So well,
about
we
that
were
before we started.
keeping eyes and checking out how you were doing, and you were getting some crazy kills. They were some pretty fun matches to watch.
I got my first quadra kill.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was so cool to
We're getting
watch.
quads already, and your content isn't even out yet.
Teach me.
Yeah, we're gonna play.
Yeah.
That's super awesome. Well, the Virtuoso event has got 6 skins in it, featuring the 2 of you, of course, but also some other friends from the Virtuoso extended family, as well as some really cool bundles and cosmetics like jump stamps and emotes and announcer packs. Fruit, Iron Mouse, I know you all had a lot of help with us doing this. Tell me a little bit about the experience with recording your voice lines and being involved coming to Smite.
Oh my god, you want to go first?
Okay. Well, I've always wanted to do like voice acting and stuff. I've kind of just secretly had a passion for it, I guess. But with this Smite opportunity, it's kind of like, well, I'm really into voice acting, I guess. But yeah, it was super a unique experience, I'd say, because I've never done something like acting in front of a few people, especially just like on the spot. I feel like I'm really proud of myself because usually I'm pretty nervous and socially inept. But
What are you saying? You're fine. You're great.
Absolutely killed it.
Thank
Iron Mouse,
you.
how about you?
I'm not
Oh,
pissed.
man.
I got
It
nothing to
was a
add to
dream
this,
come true
dude.
Because I've always wanted to like.
This
be
isn't my
a
thing.
Voice actress, and that gave me like the taste of what it felt like to be a voice actor.
This is not for me.
I was a little
Not my kind of
nervous
content.
and a little embarrassed because I had to make a lot of weird noises, but it was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, some of the noises that we have on the sheet are definitely a little silly. We have like a falling off a cliff sound, you know, things like that. But you guys nailed it. I was in those sessions with you guys, and I honestly, you guys blew me away with the amount of talent that you came in with. And I think that these voice packs and announcer packs, they turned out so awesome, and they've got a lot of fun references.
You want to
too.
see the
So
other
I hope
VTube
that,
model?
community loves them. Hope they get to equip
I
them
got you.
soon, and really excited to hear them.
They
and
definitely
hear them.
centered the
Yes, and like
The
I was
right
saying, the Virtuoso
VTube
event
model
has
in the
a
screen.
lot of awesome content.
I see what they
coming,
were doing
but Let's
there.
go ahead and we're gonna hop in game and check out some of the skins, and we're gonna start off. Actually, we're not going in game yet. I just heard we're getting ready yet, so we're just chilling. Let's go in game and we'll show the card art for the first skin that we want to show off today. And it's actually going to be for Iron Mouse. This is your splash art. It's super sick. What do you think about it?
Oh my god, I look so cool. I love it.
I love the like combination of like the
Wait,
melding
which one
between
is Iron
Mouse's
Mouse?
Just super fun, pinky, but also kind of
The
like
middle one or the right one?
gothic, a little bit edgy aesthetic, and Persephone.
I know that one, but the people that were talking before, is it the middle one?
I just love how these two
The
characters
one with the
just meld
boobas.
together,
Okay, that makes more
so
sense.
perfectly. Goddesses of the
Yeah,
underworld.
She's got
I
her
was gonna
model down,
say
right?
this is the complete package. We've got the Queen of the Underworld in Smite, and then the Queen of the Underworld on Twitch. And I just heard back we are ready to go in game and check out Iron Mouse Persephone.
Yes, there she is.
Looks so good.
So cute.
I love the
Those
hair.
effects.
Me too. So bouncy.
Oh, she's so cute. Bruno.
Look like a magical girl.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love the little details here, and you can see the plants for Persephone are actually little booby.
Oh yeah!
And we have a booby ward as well, so lots of fun little cosmetics with references to our favorite little underworld henchman, I guess you could say, but also companion. He does
The
a lot
name of the
helping,
little
right?
dude is Booby?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, and then some of the voice lines as well you can hear playing. And here comes the ultimate, just a giant cage, as you can see there. Lots of vines extending to everyone, trapping them in place to throw out the rest of those plants. I love this.
Can't help but notice that the skeleton is wearing a white suit.
Yeah, he
That
is.
reminds me of
Oh.
somebody.
Oh, that's right.
Could be anybody, right?
Right?
Yeah, it could be. It could be anybody.
Yeah, this one turned out absolutely amazing. I love the heart effects and the little booby that Lermy called out as the seed and the plant. And the ultimate looks absolutely insane. And Iron Mouse, you're dripped out. I see the Vishojo logo on your jacket and the shoes and the outfit. It just looks absolutely stunning in game. But you all did such a hard work and such an amazing job on the voice acting. Let's take a listen to some of those voice lines in game.
Enjoy the show. Hello, my precious family.
If I could request
so
the curses as
awesome.
well. That one's very funny, I think.
Yay!
I love the censored one.
Motherfucking.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that is
Yeah,
so
that's
sick.
actually.
This turned
That's
out-
pretty, I'm glad they did that.
Absolutely
I'm glad they
amazing.
did that for him.
Goodness, yes,
That is so not
there's,
fitting into the
there's a
skin,
lot
so
of,
it actually
very,
stands out.
Strong language, you might say, but that's you know, something that is very characteristic, I feel like. So we wanted to make sure that we were including that personality that Iron Mouse brings, and I think that you know, together this script really runs that home.
I'm sorry I curse so much.
No, it's lovely. I think it's very fun.
Oh, this is great. Well, that was Iron Mouse Persephone, and it's only fitting that we check out Fruit, your skin. We've got Apricot Izanami. We've got the splash art. All these splash arts, absolutely insane.
gorgeous.
So good. All the ones I've seen are just amazing, and it just keeps getting better. And I love this so much. When I first saw this, I was like, "This is perfect. No changes. I love this. It's perfect.
No changes. Knocked it
No
out on the
changes.
first try. For sure.
It's so good."
We are ready to go in game.
The autos
and-
on
and
this
check
might be
out your
pretty
skin,
cool.
Fruit.
With the axes or whatever those are.
Oh, this one's adorable as well. I love the weapon as well. It's got the
Oh,
eyeball
yeah.
charm in it. It's
Terry Axe.
so cool, and those effects as well with the activation.
autos on that are pretty
the-
clean.
The purple and green, very thematic.
Yeah.
I love.
I like
this.
the autos on that.
Vulnerable.
They remind me of
I
like
love
World of
it so much.
Warcraft
It's so
axes
cool.
and shit.
I know, right? And Fruit's been getting the practice in. When this skin comes out next week, you're going to get your pentakill, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna play this game. I'm gonna no life this game when this game comes out.
Your character's so cool. What?
Yeah. I love the soul effects and all the abilities too. It's so sick.
Yeah, there's lots of really fun little like ghost effects. Because of course, another kind of thematic pairing, I feel like, because we've got a lich, right? And so is Nami also another underworld goddess that has a lot of fun.
They
ties
do have the
together
model
that
walking
theming
really
can
weird.
look really beautiful when we kind of animeify it, you might say.
Like
And,
really weird. I don't think it's even walking weird. It's probably
Theming
default
matches up
animation.
very
It's just the
visuals
leg
came
design
together,
makes
and
it
of
look
course,
like
the voice
she's
pack.
walking really weird.
So good.
Yeah, speaking of the voice pack, let's take a listen to some of those voice lines.
Ayaya, ayaya. Hey, hey you. Hey, hey you. I'm out. Oh, I love nuds. Ada.
These are such fun lines as well, and I think the
Oh, I
announcer pack
love
for this one's
nuts.
also really exciting too. So once we get a chance to look at that one, I hope lots of people are gonna take a look on their own time as well.
Yeah, I know.
Wasted.
And we had to get some ayayas in there.
Oh, absolutely! Please send that in the chat.
Ayaya, ayaya.
Uh,
Ada, ada.
Absolutely awesome. I can't wait to rock this one in game. But next up, we've got Silverveil Scotty that is coming to the battleground as well.
I feel like this is just a perfect pairing, right? Because Silver actually has played Smite a lot before. She's got several hundred hours from my understanding, and Scotty was one of her favorite characters. So when we found out that this was what she wanted to be in Smite, we were like, this is perfect. And as you'll see when we go in game, Daya is actually called her. So that was just a match made in heaven. It was perfect.
Yeah.
So good. We are good to go in game and
This
check
skin's
out
actually probably
Silverveil
good.
Scotty with her companion Daya. And this
These
one
have cool
looks absolutely
looking
amazing,
abilities.
too. I
All
love
those
the
are cool.
pinks and blues and the hair. And Daya looks awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Reminds me just of the cat skins they do though.
We'll send her out. Oh,
And the wolf is just
look at
plain.
that cute little icon as well.
What a good girl.
That's cool. All right, that's really
It's
cool
our
for a
ice
3.
field
Oh, I love
for
the
the
lily pad.
permafrost.
That's actually a dope 3.
It just feels so cozy, right? Because Silverveil's whole aesthetic is like the cozy, comfy Sakura wolf, very important wolf. And so this whole aesthetic really just feels so gorgeous, gorgeously executed on Scotty. I think this is such an amazing skin.
Oh, I love those basic attacks too.
They're so pretty.
I like that one.
All right, well, let's take a listen to some of the voice lines for Silverveil Scotty.
I don't think I'd buy these skins though. Like if I was a fan of them as streamers, I would for sure.
Hi.
But just off of raw looks, I don't think I would buy these skins at all.
You're the best. Ugh,
There's just way
I'm
better
annoying.
skins on all of these characters
I
so
do
far.
not have fleas.
I thought the abilities really look cool. The 3 looks dope. It's probably one of the better 3s on Scotty, but other than that,
I love how the
I'm
emotes
about to
also work on
drive
Daya
all
as
over
well
you.
with the clapping and the
Meow.
taunting. Daya also gets to interact. It's so cute.
no, dude, the VTuber supporting is
These are some
nuts.
awesome lines.
Like VTubers have crazy
Let's move on.
fans,
We're
bro.
about halfway
Crazy
through.
fans.
Oh, yeah.
Shoujo.
There's
Go look at
still
the
more.
There's
VTubers
still
and look
more.
at their top
Next up,
gifted
we've
subs.
got the boss.
Every
We've
VTuber has
got
somebody who gifts
Yanners,
like 10 to
Circuit
20,000
coming
subs
in.
to them.
This is such a
It's
fun
fucking
skin
nuts.
as well. I mean,
They have crazy
Circuit is a
support, so
really
people go
interesting
in and buy all
character
these
to
skins.
work with. So Neaners
And then they'll
being
never
able
play Smite
to
again.
kind of attack with the claws as well is
Right.
really fun, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that this translated so.
There's a lot of
well in game.
VTubers with like 200 viewers that sit around
Speaking of
4,000
in-game, I
subs
believe
all the
we're
time.
ready
And it's
to
like
check
1 or
out
2 people
Yanners
gifting all the
Circuit.
subs.
Oh, look at the twin tails. I love it.
The tail.
Our resident
So
cat girl.
good. Fluffy.
So long.
Oh, these effects are so fun too. You get the little like cat scratches going on.
Oh, this is awesome.
And the sounds don't match up.
Oh, this like pink color is so fun. I like this like magenta shade going on.
It's like delayed. I feel like all the sound is delayed.
Nice. I love the little heart effects on the taunt.
Oh, it has a little
Meta
bow
and Blade
with
dicks on this
targeter.
skin,
That's
bro.
adorable. Oh, so cute.
The Mewtwo style
Of
tails.
course, we gotta see the. Oh my god, is that Goro? That's awesome. Wow. Oh, and let's just hope that that spreads to every single minion and god on the battlefield.
Right,
They
yeah.
can all be covered
As soon
in
as that poison explodes.
adorableness.
Everyone is girl.
Oh, this is such an awesome skin. Again, the combination just feels so right.
The cat has an
I
alien
think
skin,
that,
yeah.
You know, Scorpion Girl to Cat Girl, it might not seem like it would work really well, but the team executed so well on this
Oh,
one.
it's perfect. I'm loving the character pairings for all of these skins so far. Well, let's take a couple of listens to some of the voice lines for Neander's Circuit.
Hello, everyone. До свидания.
Why did you clip that? Every room is an escape room when I'm in it. Would you like to scratch my little chinny chin chin?
Oh, that was a good laugh.
You're a boss ass. Handle that.
Oh man, I just love seeing how the personality of each VTuber gets to shine through these voice packs. I feel like the scripts have been so much fun to see brought to life by everyone, and I just love it so much.
Yeah, this is awesome. Well, moving right along, let's move on and talk about Kason Nemesis.
Oh, the boss is here.
The boss.
Here she comes.
Big boss.
I just love her design so much. I think it is just gorgeous, and this aesthetic is so fun. It's really clean, I feel like, with the simple colors, but paired in such like tasteful ways. I think it really reflects that boss mentality. She's got it together.
The one word that comes to my mind when describing it is swag. Like,
oh yeah.
Just look at it, the outfit. She's ready to go. And let's go ahead and go in game and check out Kason Nemesis.
Oh, this might be the best skin. That's a dope ass weapon.
Oh
they
my
never
gosh,
give them cool
I
weapons.
love this one.
I feel
And
like.
with Kason
please have good
being part
autos.
of the Japanese branch of VShojo, this was a must include. I feel like for us in this
Sick.
collaboration.
I love that animation.
Oh yeah, and the scales being custom as well. Yeah, Nemesis has got a lot of emotes.
I'd buy this
being
skin.
able to Kasonify them.
This skin on its own is dope.
really
I'd buy this
fun.
skin. The skin is very good. This is a this is by far the best skin.
Nemesis shield
This
in
skin
the
is
game.
sick.
That is
It's so
so
cool.
This is the best Nem skin by far. I wouldn't buy any of those other
That person
skins
that gets
at
hit
all.
by
This I'll buy
the
at
ultimate,
heartbeat.
I don't think they're gonna make it out. I
You're
think
out
that's
here
it.
being negative. You know what happens when you're negative. Get some positivity beat in.
That Nem skin is sick as fuck.
Kason's the one to do it. She's so fun to watch. I love just the general good vibes whenever I'm in her stream, and this skin really brings that.
I know. Well, let's take a listen to some of the voice lines for Kason.
Konnichiwa. Bye bye. No wonder why you don't have a girlfriend. Son of a.
Oh yeah, I'm using this skin. That's a good skin.
Your cuteness is life changing.
They hit what 1 out of 5 skins?
Oh no, not
No,
a cancel
not the
that. Don't
DM.
cancel that.
Yaruzo.
Oh my goodness.
Totally not my fault.
Man, this combo is also
This
just so
BT
fun.
Swift, yeah.
I'm loving
Maybe
each
not
and
the
every one of
actual
these skins.
skin model, but
So
everything
awesome.
else in the skin is
And then the
better.
last skin
That
that we
shield is
got
the best
coming
shield in the
into the
game, and the
Shojo
weapon
event
auto attacks are
is,
probably the
for
cleanest weapon auto
Nuwa,
attacks.
It is Vtuber.
Oh, there's another
Oh
one.
my gosh, look at Tanky right front and
Wait,
center.
There's
So
a skin
cute.
that looks
I
just like this
love
in the game already, right?
this
Like a dodgy
pairing as
skin or
well.
something?
I think that the crystals feels really fun, and Tenki actually gets to be a part of her kit as well, which is really exciting.
Isn't
We'll
there a
see that in
dodgy skin with the
a second,
same,
but this art
like,
is
outfit? What the
gorgeous
fuck?
on top of it.
All these splash arts, absolutely insane. But we're ready to go in game and check out how the skin looks in game.
Yo.
Yo.
Yo. Oh yeah, and when the passive glows, you can see Tenki in the crystals, ready to fire off that root, and there it is. I like the just like soft blue effects. It feels really chill, and that's a lot of what Vay brings to the streaming table. Is some
sure.
nice chill vibes. Sometimes a little sus, but you know, who is it?
Now who is it? Right? I love the effects on that fog. You called it out. The blues just look really, really awesome. They're very calming.
Yeah,
actually,
right?
On the skin.
They're little soldier friends as well. She's summoning her
The autos don't have
army
audio.
of fans. Definitely no other word that I would use for that.
How has the patch been so far? Has it only been skins?
Checking out the ultimate here.
Wow. That's so fun that she gets that like summoning circle as
Yeah.
back up in the air too. That is really sick. That is so cool. Wow.
All right, well, let's take a listen to some of the voice lines for Vtuber.
Yo. Peace out, motherfuckers.
Ew, why are your hands so sweaty? Anyway, how's your love life?
Oh.
Oh.
Please
Oh.
stop crying. I think you're really cute.
Okay.
Cancel
We'll take that.
I'm sorry in advance.
What the heck? You can't just rock and
Nice.
cancel that us again.
Right?
Nice job.
That's right.
Yeah, this skin is
I know.
so cool.
This skin and all the skins into the shoujo
Oh, absolutely.
coming in the next update are absolutely incredible. Everyone that worked on this entire event killed it, absolutely, from the people at Vishojo to the people internally. I want
Yeah.
to give a special shout out to Kitten of Doom.
Oh. Yep.
I know
The
she
Nems
put in
skin's
a
dope.
ton of
The other
work,
ones are very
working not only with the internal
for
team,
skins.
but the team
Nothing
over
special
at
about the other ones.
Vishojo is kind of the art and subject matter expert for this event.
Hopefully they make a lot of money off the
This
collab.
event just turned out absolutely incredible, and I'm
Peace
so
out,
excited
motherfuckers.
for the Smite community to get their hands on this event. I'm so excited for Apricot and Fruit to join the battleground of the gods and hop in and play some games. It's going to be super awesome.
Yeah, it's been so awesome to work with you guys. I hope that we get to see you on the battleground soon, and I hope that everyone gets to enjoy your skins just as much as we've enjoyed making them.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna collect the ball.
Well, that wraps it up for our Vishojo section. Apricot and Fruit, before we let you go, is there anything you wanted to shout out, tell to the community?
What do you want to say, Fruit?
I want to shout out Iron Mouse.
I want to shout out Fruit, my favorite apricot.
Yeah. wait. Wait, I'm so confused.
Like, what is happening?
We're a mess, man. We're VTubers.
Oh,
We
so
don't have
Isaiah's
a-
sitting there, he's like, what the fuck do I
Everything's
say?
script.
What is this?
Yeah.
That is perfectly fine. Well, once again, thank you so much, Iron Mouse and Fruit, for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure getting to hang out. And I'm
Isaiah's
super
like, give me the
excited for
fuck
all
out of
stuff to
here.
drop
Give me the
on
fuck
May
out of
16th.
here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
Oh,
for having us. We
SOS.
Yeah.
Always.
Thank you for working with us.
Yeah. Thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely. We'll be seeing you all on the battleground.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'll be there.
Cool. All right. Well, that wraps it up for our Vishojo segment. Let's talk about some quality of life. I see my man Agro joining us here on the couch here, so we can talk about some stuff that is coming into Smite on the quality.
I'm sure
of
they
life
are very,
side.
very
And
nice,
The first
cool
one we
people.
teased out on
Just
social
not
media
my
a little
kind of
bit earlier
content.
today, but our girl Artemis is getting a
Oh,
visual
yeah.
update, right?
It's about time.
About time. Artemis, one of many that's been around since the dawn of Smite.
Are they reworking or just
It's
remodeling?
time for her to get a little bit of love, and I think it turned out
Fix your
unbelievable.
mic.
Absolutely. So
Fix your fucking mic.
her default model, her masteries, and the Stalker recolor all
Yep.
going to be getting the update here. And the Stalker recolor is actually going to be on a little bit of a discount when the patch launches. So if you haven't picked up the Stalker skin yet, it's your perfect time. But we've got the default card art that we're going to show off here in just a second.
Yeah.
She looks sick.
Okay,
and
so
everyone's talking about
if
Artemis.
it's
but look
just
at my
a
boy
remodel,
Tusky.
this
There
is
he
a
is,
looking
complete waste of
strong.
time.
Yeah, that's a good point. That Artemis deserves the love. I mean, she's the goddess, right? But that is a mythical beast.
If
in
it's
the
just
Caledonian
our
lore.
remodel, there's
Right.
nothing
And
else here, no
nobody
buffs or
left it.
anything. This
He's
is
out
a
here
complete
suppressing the
waste of
insulin.
time.
Well, no, that's and she's also leading the vengeful assault.
Yes.
And she's leaving the transgressor's face.
Yes.
Oh, no, Tusky.
Tusky's beating people up.
Yeah.
No more tongue out, derpy looking Tusky. He's now this badass tough boar,
Oh, yeah.
and he will be dashing at you.
Looking good. Look at
stunning
the
you.
details in his fur.
Oh yeah.
The glow up is real.
The glow up is real. Barracuda will still miss Artemis ults. Will still go. Tusky.
Husky.
Every
Someone
single
last
time,
night
but
was
now
like,
he
they
should be
mentioned
putting some more
Barracuda in
respect
every
on
patch notes.
That's the default
And I'm
model.
pretty sure
Let's
it's
go ahead and
aggro
transition to
that
the
mentions
Stalker
Barracuda
recolor.
in every
Also
single
getting,
patch
getting
note.
an update. The card art getting a refresh as well.
Yep.
Looking good.
It's looking awesome, man. I mean, such a the little accent on the arrow and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that looks real nice. I love the.
Why
like,
did they
featured
remodel
aspect
Artemis
of
when,
this
like,
card art. It,
Mercury's
feels like it could
face
be up on a
exists?
wall, you know?
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, this one looks.
I think art might just be
absolutely incredible.
played
I
hyper
love when we get to
casually, like by
revisit
everybody
kind of the older
casually.
models and give them a refresh in the splash
Yeah.
zones. And yeah, this recolor is
This
awesome.
looks like
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the blonde hair
fucking
looks
one
really
of
sexy.
the
I forgot about the red
Paladins
hair, but I think
characters
it's like
did when
this
it first
too.
came
Yeah,
out.
switch it up a little bit. You know, nothing
Exactly,
wrong with
you
that.
know?
And Tusky's still looking fierce as ever. I'm saying it every time it's on a skin or anything, but purple always banging on any
That's right.
skin, and the purple arrow with like the yellow accent on the arm, really cool.
For sure. And for those people who've been flexing, playing a lot of Artemis games and get their mastery levels up, the mastery skin's also going to be getting an update here. The splash art. This just looks so sick.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Love it. I mean, she's out on the hunt, and as we know, you hunt on a mountain over a beautiful river at probably sunrise.
Exactly.
I imagine that's probably
Golden hour. Yeah.
This is not gamers might not be super familiar, but the sun comes up and
That's when I go to bed.
light, right? And then it goes down later, but like most people have already done stuff by then.
Yeah. So this is the gold skin, and I believe we've got turnarounds.
What do they do to Artemis?
The
Change
legendary
the one,
as
the
well,
traps?
the black and gold.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong.
It's so
with this
sick.
one, right?
You know I'm repping the black and gold.
The traps
Classic
should
color
trigger
combination. And then the diamond skin,
like a field
also
when you
getting
walk near it,
refresh.
like a mine. If you
in
walk
this
right
visual
over it, it
update
should trap you.
19.5.
If you walk
Patch
over
goes
like
live
near
next
it, it should trigger
I mean,
and
I
do like
can't
a
wait
slow.
to see like Tusky's little gold accents in there are so sick.
Oh, I didn't even
Yes.
notice that. Yeah, there we go.
nice.
I was
Look at
like
his
buying
eyes.
some time
Those are
just
the
in
eyes of a
case.
killer. Like,
Yeah, that thing is. I'm gonna wake up and see that like in the corner of my
Artemis
room.
ult is also butt cheeks.
But I was like, man, I really hope the boar is a little blue accent.
Our ult should probably give CC immunity
yeah.
for a way longer
Oh yeah,
time.
that looks so sick. I love how everything has been blue.
Like as long as
Tuski's
Tusky's up, you should have immunity
Yeah.
the whole
and she
time.
doesn't have to buy that item in order to have it.
right?
Okay, calm down. This is our first thing that we're talking about.
Exactly.
They're just
right?
remodeling
I'm gonna
Artemis.
got a
She
ton
just said
more
I'll
to
look
go
warning
later,
item.
right? Yeah, I'm gonna move. All right, so I got you aggro.
Yeah.
So that was the first for quality of life, but we've also got a quality of life section. It's kind of thick.
I don't
Yeah,
consider that
beefy.
quality of
Kinda
life,
beefy,
bro.
So we've got
It
a
doesn't
lot of
affect
HUD
my
updates
Smite
coming
quality of
in
life at all.
10.5 as well. Of course, we've been hearing your feedback around everything regarding the new HUD.
Yep.
Specifically for PC and then on console regarding the item store navigations. And we're addressing a lot of things here. It's all listed out in the patch notes. And let me see if I can rapid fire here. But
Yeah, hit it.
console item store, they can now use the D-pad to navigate directly between items. Console item store can now shortcut between filters using the bumpers, which I know was a big request.
Yep.
The console item store, the entire UI element is now larger. So if you're chilling on the couch, you're a little bit farther away from your TV, it's going to be a little bit easier to read all the items in the item store. And we fixed a lot of issues with the HUD editor. I know people on PC really making those custom HUDs. We did a whole segment on the SPL where people were showing off their HUDs. It was awesome.
Yep.
But lots of bug fixes to the HUD editor to make it feel more responsive.
Yep.
Make your settings save a little bit more consistently.
Tally.
And then we've also fixed an issue where the mini map, the opacity was resetting on the HUD editor as well. So
Yeah, I was running into that one. I was stoked whenever I saw that was in there.
I know.
That was
And that's just a few. There's a whole lot more in the patch notes. So patch notes should be live on the website right now. So if you want to check out all the quality of life changes coming to the HUD, smitegame.com, baby. That's where you want to go.
That's right.
But speaking of quality of life, we're just going to keep it on rolling.
Yeah,
The
that's
end of
not it.
match lobby. I've seen the tweets.
Yes.
I want to commend my this person on my team that did a good job, but I maybe don't want to necessarily invite them to my party.
Exactly. It's very easy to say, hey, you did a great job, and I don't necessarily want to keep
Yes,
you don't have to commit to that. That level of commitment is scary to all of us.
for sure.
Yeah.
So making a little bit of a change here, just to make it a little bit more clear, adding some extra animation time. That way you can commend your team, and then if you want to invite them to your party, you're good. But it's going to be a whole lot easier to commend people without inviting them to your party accidentally. So
Yep.
I know that was a big quality of life change that was getting asked on Twitter. So we're
people
happy
actually
to
regularly
address it and,
commend people?
Keep it coming. Speaking of friends lists and inviting to party, we've got a new feature coming in Smite called the Quick Party System. It's going to make it a whole lot easier to invite people to
Yeah.
parties
Yep.
in game. So the friends list now has a home screen element that's going to display. It's on the bottom right. It's going to be called Quick Party, and it's going to show your friends. It's going to be super easy to click in, invite people to parties, and just get in game a whole lot more easy.
Exactly. Those friends that you're constantly playing with, you can favorite them. They'll go to the top of the list. And it's just real easy to, all my friends are on. I'm just going to invite them to my party, and away we go.
Rex, David
no more
28, brother.
scrolling through your
Sorry,
whole
I'll take
friends
the
list.
sub.
You still can do it that way if you want to. You don't have to use the quick party system, I think. But just making it a little easier to get all your friends together and get into your match.
Yeah, I know
Just
we've got
seems
some
weird
OGs out
for
there that
quality
have
of
like
life,
capped
bro.
friends list, and that's a big friends
Brag about
list,
it.
right? Like, so
Sorry,
now
let
it's
me
going to be
scroll through my
a lot
thousands of
easier
friends.
to, call out the
I had to
favorites
have
that
them
you
wipe
play
my
with
friends list.
consistently,
Right.
invite them to party and get in game.
At one
And
point, friends
all
list
the friends
bugs.
that you added accidentally by
If you had
commending
too many
them,
friend
Yeah.
requests or
you'd be
anything,
like,
you couldn't
could
do
just
anything on
not
your
have to
friends
worry
list.
about
Filter 'em
adding
out.
right away.
You had to wipe it.
That new magic card, that's really good. Speaking of Magic and games and crossovers, we had the Magic crossover.
That's right.
But before that, we had the RuneScape crossover.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
And we're making some changes to the
popular.
cape loadout. Lermy, I know you're our resident cape grinder.
We're grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically when you pick a RuneScape skin in game, you're always like, I don't really know what my cape's gonna look like. I kind of just set it in my cosmetics setting spot, but I kind of want to know what it looks like before I actually get in game. Well, now you can. All you have to do is pick one of those skins, and then when you're there, you'll see, when it says skin, voice pack, emotes, there's going to be another kind of section there that says capes.
There you go.
You click on the cape section, you pick which cape you want, and then we'll update live as you click on the different capes to show you what that looks like. And again, that only ever shows up when you're using a RuneScape skin, so if you're not using it, you don't see the capes.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure. Well, like I was saying earlier, the quality of life section is thick. I
Yep.
want to call out some quality of life bug fixes because I know a lot of them have been asked and been present in the community. For all of our resident multi-queuers, the play again button will now work in the end of match lobby.
Big.
And it will multi-queue you for the modes that you pre-selected. So you don't have to worry about going back in to multi-queue again. It's going to be super easy. We're just making it easy to just hop in
So far,
game, right?
none of this
That's our big
affects
goal.
Yep.
my Smite
For
experience.
all of our achievement hunters out there in the community, I know Kitten of Doom did a lot of work, put a lot of work with our QA team.
Yep.
Lots of achievements maybe weren't working the way they were supposed to.
Right.
So we addressed a ton of achievements. The whole list is in patch notes. But for all the people who are like, why I did this,
Yep.
I know I did it, but my achievement didn't unlock.
I think
Where's my
multi-queue is
gamer
more
score?
for people who are playing
gonna be
like
fixed in the next
Assault
update.
Arena.
And it's going to
Flash
it's kind
and
of
just
a
don't care which
delayed
one they get into.
gratification. Yeah, think about it. Now your gamer score is going to go up all of a sudden, and you're going to feel great about it.
Exactly. You didn't even have to do anything. Actually, I've got a list of them. Adept Mastery, Arena welcomes you, Blood and Sand, Hard Carry, Joust welcomes you. And that's just a few.
Yep.
So if you want to check out the full list, go to smitegame.com and read patch notes.
That's right.
And then the last thing, quality of life. It's not really a change that's going in this update, but it's just a reminder for all of our players here. We have the matchmaking survey
Yes.
that is in the end of match lobby, and we wanted to give a reminder out to all of our players. It's super important for you to fill that out because we actually look at that.
Yeah,
right?
we do.
Yeah.
We do. Yeah, and it's important to rate both good and bad matches. And I know it might be difficult, but that does not just mean win or loss. But sometimes it can. That's still valuable, even if it is that binary for
we
you.
hoping
So
for?
it doesn't take very
Nothing
long. It's real
specific,
quick.
to be
If you
honest.
just fill out that matchmaking
I'm more
survey,
interested to see.
and then
I had
we get a
low
chance to
expectations
look
for
at
this
the data
patch.
and
This
help
isn't a
make
big
Smite
patch.
better.
The next
So,
patch is a big
just a
patch.
quick little reminder that it's out there.
So I
The
had
button is in the bottom
very
left
minimal
of the initial screen that you get with a nice little animation of your graph.
limited
Winning or
expectations, but
losing.
like
That's right.
I didn't
Bottom
expect them to
left,
even
click
try
that
to do
button.
much this
Rate it 1 to
patch.
5. That's all you got to do.
Absolutely. We appreciate you, Smite community.
Yeah.
We look at all that stuff and take it
Levon and
into account.
nerf.
Just make
They'll
the Smite
probably buff
experience better
or
for
tweak
everybody.
some of the underused items.
Well, that wraps it up for our quality of life section. We're going to move on to the last chapter of the Hope Reborn event. We've got a lot of awesome skins that are going to be coming in the final chapter of the Season of Hope. It's crazy that the Season of Hope is already coming to a
believe that?
close, right?
Unbelievable. This year has absolutely flown by. I can't believe we're already at the end of season.
I know. Well, the Hope Reborn event, last chapter is coming at you. We've got a quick little video to give a quick spotlight on some of the skins headed your way. We'll see you right on the other side.
Another Ares skin, bro. It's just.
I won't rest until every last demon is vanquished. These demons think they run the place. I guess they've never met me.
I'm back! A jester unemployed is nobody's.
Didn't we just get a skin similar to that
Ishtar,
with the beak?
the immortal queen of the heavens.
That is a very underwhelming
This
skin.
world
There's
has
like
become
that skin just looks like a
corrupt and
basic skin.
devoid of light. I will be the one to restore it to its former glory.
Can you smell what's
Okay, that's-
cooking?
It's got noodles.
Anyone hungry?
Yeah, it's about Osiris sucks ass. All right, we're getting Osiris buff, boys.
You always need to eat.
That's a big ass
Especially
fucking
those
axe,
that
dude. The
feed.
butcher axe. Oh my gosh.
Stars are just images of what once
All right,
was.
some of these skins are super
The
trash.
universe is ever changing, ever expanding.
That's right. The final chapter of
One
Hope
good
Reborn has
skin.
got some bangers in it, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
We were just talking while the video was playing. Some of the best skins that I've seen
Absolutely.
coming into Smite
Oh
for
my
this
gosh,
event.
for sure.
Look, Kleedna,
Bro.
Kleedna's got a lot of great
Isaiah, how much
skins.
they pay you off,
Every
bro?
God game does. That is Kleedna's
Who
best.
told you what to
Yes.
say?
It
That
is.
is her best.
Skins
When you
are
get into
ass.
the wall, you'll know what I mean. That's all I got to say.
That Osiris skin is good. The rest are
Hope Reborn
ass.
event, so when the patch launches next week, you're going to have access to Shackled Souls Ares, Demon Dasher Naja. I know that was a highlight. That one.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That one's really cool.
Sick. Twisted Jester Thoth is going to be there.
The
And
Thoth
then for
skin
those
is
that bought
fine.
all,
Like
you get a
it's
chance to get
it's
the
decent.
Striking Archon
The Naja
Ishtar
skin.
What a fun skin.
I know, right?
The Osiris skin,
Like in,
I know.
Cleo
it's so
skin,
crazy.
that's so.
Ishtar
wow, I'm
skin trash.
surprised.
She's got really fun skins so far, but this one might just be it. She's got the wings. I mean,
She's got the wings,
I
for sure.
know.
it feels really special,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
I love the angelic Archon theme, and we've got some card art here. We're going to go a little bit deeper and take a closer look at striking Archon Ishtar. And this splash art, incredible, absolutely insane. We teased it earlier this week, and the community lost their minds.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not? Like the swords coming down, the eclipse behind her. Like this is awesome.
I saw lots of step on me's, lots of
Oh.
mommy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, let's listen to those jokes later, and you'll know what I mean.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, we're good to check the skin out in game and check out some of the abilities and effects, and
Bow
I'm loving it.
your
Yeah, the little persistent effects coming off of the wings look really, really cool.
And
Like,
this is such a fitting theme for her too, because she is a goddess of heaven.
yep.
But she kind of took like the more like mortal approach. Like, I'm gonna beat you with my fists before. This is like, I've ascended. I am the queen of
Right.
heaven kind of vibe, and it is owning for that.
100%.
Oh, look at those.
Yeah,
Sick.
you know the snipe shots are always good.
And I gotta call it out. Targeters on point.
As
Oh,
always.
look at this
Always.
one though. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
that's sick. I love
Oh.
the little rune designs.
Yeah, little patterns in there. Those are really, really cool.
Yeah, she's just calling down the heavens on your noggin, you know.
Right.
is
As one does.
super
when
snooze.
fighting on the battleground gods. Oh, the three.
Nice,
The
that is
backflip
sick.
is totally different.
Yeah, new enemy.
Oh my gosh, that's sick. I didn't even notice that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, she's letting the bow fly into the air with some holy magic, and it's shooting down. And yeah, no backflip this
Oh.
time, but
So cool.
this is so sick.
Because you don't need to backflip when you have wings.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
you
that-
already can fly.
Oh,
Right.
that ultimate animation too. A little
totally-
charge up. Yeah.
Yep.
The skin
Yeah,
looks like the
absolutely.
base skin to me. With wings.
Yeah, this one turned out incredible. And it's the chapter reward. So if you bought all, you'll get the skin on day one whenever the patch drops next week. Let's take a listen to a couple of voice lines for striking Archon Ishtar.
Bow before your queen. I will await your return. Misfortunes plague us this day. Why don't you return to whatever hole you crawled from and spare me the trouble of dealing with your futile resistance? The only thing I will be stepping on are the shattered bones of the demons torn asunder by the light.
Yep, there it is.
If you're buying the skin, you're buying it
How
for the
did you
3
know?
to just
Right?
have a different 3.
You
That's it.
amuse me more.
There's no other reason to buy
Like,
the
you
skin.
know, I know what the community wants.
Right. Yeah, you know.
Yep.
Gotta get
Which
the
is fine.
fans
You
what
play
they
a shit ton
want.
of Ishtar and you want different animations. It kind
That
of
is
makes
striking,
sense. but
striking Archon Ishtar.
Skin is not
and
good.
the Hope Reborn event, final chapter, coming out next week. And then for the following bonus update, still in 10.5, there are a couple other skins. That cleanest skin that you shouted out is going to be a part of that,
Yep.
dropping in the
in
bonus
the
update.
tier
And
5
then
pack?
The Chop Chop Osiris, the Battle Chef. We were joking, like the whip was like literally spaghetti. Like,
Yeah.
How does that hold, like when he hits people?
You should see the passive.
Oh, okay.
That skin, we're on our nonsense a lot. We were really on our nonsense with that one in the best of ways.
Yes, well, definitely keep an eye out for those skins.
No doubt.
Maybe check them out in PTS. But speaking of some other things that we can check out in PTS, it's time to get to the meat and potatoes of the show.
Yep.
It's time to talk about some balance. And we're going to kick things off with Conquest. Some Conquest changes coming in 10.5. Lots of quality of life stuff. Aggro, you want to walk us through what's happening with Conquest?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do this typically at the beginning of the year where we lengthen the timer at the beginning of the game in Conquest, especially when it's a new map or there's lots of new mechanics in the early game, because players need some time to familiarize themselves with new items, you know, shards, things like that. it's been enough time now. We feel like we
Wait,
can
what?
decrease that setup time a little bit by 20 seconds. So make sure that you're ready to go within the first 90 seconds.
Yep.
And now
What?
both teams are now granted full information of
You don't have
the
to keep track of
in-world
timers.
the in-world map respawn timers.
They just made
for
the
Fire
game
Giant, Gold Fury,
simple
and
for
Pyromancer
shitters.
immediately after those bosses are defeated.
This is a
At
casual
a high
quality
level,
of life
this
change.
changes basically nothing. You see, if you're watching a high level
This is
player,
like the
stream
low
ranked,
level player quality
a
of life
Fire
change.
Giant goes down. They're typing 4 minutes, into the chat. The time 4 minutes from now. That information is publicly available already because of the global sound queue of all of these different objectives. Not forcing the players to go and check the actual location to see the minimap icon just made it even harder to track that for players who aren't as familiar with those exact timers. So we're already giving them the information. It just required this extra step that wasn't really necessary. So now we decided, why make them go through the extra step? Just give them the information. And
All it is
and that way
now
it'll
when
be
the
a lot
Fire
less.
Giant dies, you don't have to go over and get the timer or type the timer.
Correct.
It'll
Not
show up
buffs or
automatically.
anything like that. You can't tell when they're clearing their jungle. Just those global objectives that have the global sound queue when they get destroyed.
It's literally just quality of life change for low level players. That's it.
Yep,
Not
absolutely.
really much of a nerf or a buff.
The totem now also has an in-world and minimap respawn timer, so you don't have to guess on when that totem is coming back up, which I'm sure many solo laners might be excited about or not excited about, because now there's no excuse that you didn't get it for me.
It's true.
We also decreased the delay before the Pyromancer's Runic Bomb reward can be picked up from 1 second to 0.5, just making that feel a little bit more responsive. And finally, Tower Bastions now have a smaller health bar that displays their exact HP value. They were just a little too obtrusive when you were up in their face.
And one more thing with the Pyromancer bomb is that before it would still show the normal Pyromancer icon when the bomb was on the ground. Well, now it has a special icon to show you it's on the ground, but it's not the Pyromancer anymore. It's just the bomb.
Yeah.
Pick it up.
Pick up those bombs.
Please.
Yep.
Pick it up.
Please.
That's good.
Promise.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for Conquest, but we've got some other game modes that we want to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to pass it to Lermy for this, but Joust and Duel going to be seeing some changes. Lermy, walk us through kind of the high level before we get into the nitty-gritty.
So Joust and Duel are two very, I guess, contentious modes occasionally because they have been on the same map before. They've changed maps a couple times in the past few years. So we want to make sure that we are going back and doing a couple passes on these to make sure that we're switching up the meta, making sure that players are enjoying what's happening in those maps and feeling like the mode isn't stale. So this is going to be a nice long pass to make sure that everyone's getting some new stuff to try out. And hopefully these couple of changes that we're going to talk about in a second here are going to make things feel a lot better.
Awesome. So for Joust and Duel, we're doing the similar thing that we did for Conquest, kind of adjusting the setup time. We're increasing it, though, for Joust and Duel. It's going from 45 seconds to 60.
Old
We're
school
also
increase.
increasing
I'm gonna
the
go grab
base
Joust,
gold
the
scoring
GM.
for both of those modes from 6 to 7. You want to talk briefly about those changes
Joust
before we
time,
hop
boys.
into the individual changes?
Who do I
for
grind a
both modes?
GM Joust with?
Typically, you are in a weird spot in Joust specifically where you are not hitting level 20 for a long time. So, sometimes
I'm not playing
you
with
will
Rogue.
be,
That's for fucking sure.
not buying a starter item or doing things like that to kind of compensate for that. But
I'd
you'll
rather
see
play
in
on 3
a couple
computers.
changes later. There's a reason why we're doing this. To kind of make sure that you are still feeling like you are keeping up with the rest of that pace for Duel. We're also doing it to kind of accelerate the game just a little bit, 1 gold.
Rogue, you
to
couldn't
really
hit
just make it
GM
so
in
that you
Joust
can
if your life
cycle
depended on
more
it.
consistently, and that you really feel like you're getting to that nice, fun
what up,
end
Zox?
game
They've gone through
without,
most of the skins already, I
being
think.
20 some odd minutes because you're like, I'm at a 20-minute
You
Duel.
could have you
I feel like
tried?
I've
I don't
been here
think so.
forever. We just want to make sure you're getting to that really fun part and the end game just a smidge faster.
I don't think you understand how hard Joust is.
Well, let's talk about Joust only for right now. So Joust only.
I think you're lost.
Going back to the Chinese map.
Yep.
And favorite, we're also removing starter items from
Yes.
Joust, which is a huge deal. Lermy, talk to us about it.
This is probably one of the biggest deals.
I'm
in
definitely
this,
grinding now. Remove
entire
defense,
change
too.
list of things for Joust, honestly, because one of the very popular complaints about the current way that Joust functions is that double tank meta is just so good, it's unbeatable. Just build tanky and you'll win the game. Removing the starter items removes a lot of the power of tanks because they're not getting that gold generation. And again, that is another reason that we increase the overall gold, so you're not kind of getting super punished for that. But basically now it will be a little bit harder
Kazimbo buff,
for
dude? I don't know
those
about
tanky
that.
characters to have that starter item to power spike off of, to farm their extra gold off of.
If they remove defense from Joust and Duel, it would be so much more fun to watch and play.
Because carries get their general power spikes a little bit more smooth in the tankiness, you might say. So being able to get those power spikes at the different times, especially with no starter items, with no extra gold generation, is going to be some of the biggest changes to what's going to hurt double tank meta the most.
Yeah, it's a huge deal, but that's not the only changes that are coming to
Exactly.
They're trying to remove double tank meta, but they won't remove
the shared
defense.
XP bonus by a little bit. And then the contestable XP camp is going to get replaced with the purple buff.
Yeah, so some stuff that you'll notice is that we're changing up a lot of the various, not objectives, the camps, I would say, in the, the pits.
Is Void going to have pen in this game mode?
And so what that's going to do is we're kind of switching up, the respawns and what's actually coming there. And so the purple buff is kind of part of the 3 sort of anti-tank. And I'm going to say anti-tank, but don't worry, all you tank players in Joust, this is not meant to say no tanks allowed, don't play tanks ever. It's just to, again, make sure that you're not going to get owned by double tanks.
This might be the worst patch of the year
each buff
for
will have
Conquest.
a very, very
I have a feeling we're not going to have very many Conquest changes
that
here.
will either help tanks, specifically the blue buff in this instance, but we'll get to that when we get to that. And the purple buff and the red buff, which will be helping the carries on your side do damage. Specifically, that is better against tanks.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the purple buff first, since we kind of, are already on it. So,
Yeah,
still going to grant that
no
attack
tanks.
speed, but it's also going to still have the basic attack doing target reduction on protections.
Yep.
But now, physical and magical power from items for 3 seconds. Sorry, I am...
It's a lot of numbers.
The numbers, and back in my day, we used to print out the patch notes thing.
Yep.
I'm not used to this
newfound
fancy technology. I feel like a boomer here, trying to zoom in. Lermy, I'll just throw it to you.
Yes, so basically how this works is that the more power from items that you have, the more reduction of protection that the target that you're hitting is going to get. And so this effect lasts for 3 seconds. It stacks up to 3 times. Think of it like Executioner, basically, but it's just on a buff. So this is going to encourage a little bit more hunter play, because I know that kind of depending on the meta, it's usually guardian, warrior, and then a mage. It's not really hunters as much. So hopefully
this
with
is
this buff
nuts.
giving you attack speed,
That's really
and giving
good.
The,
that buff is insane.
Or physical protection reduction.
There's only one of those on the map
basic
too,
attacks.
right? So you're gonna be
It's
fighting
going
over that
to
shit.
give
That
a
buff
little
is
bit more favor
nuts.
to the hunters in this instance over the mages.
Controlling that buff is
again,
nuts.
making sure that those builds are hitting those power spikes accordingly, because you're not going to shred as much unless you have those power items.
Yep, I'm doing a Joust GM grind.
For my old eye.
Lots of numbers. Not as complicated when you break down what it actually does.
Yep.
No, they said it's
talk about
replacing
blue
the
buff
neutral
next.
camp somewhere.
Still going to grant the
Or was
plus
it red?
15 MP5 to you and allies, but also hitting an enemy god with an
won't, I
ability
will.
restores 4% of your mana. This can only happen once per ability cast.
Yeah, so this actually is a buff that is, again, the one that's going to be helping tanks a lot, because additionally with those starter item changes, you're losing a lot of mana
neutral
regen,
camp.
because you're getting health regen and mana regen from assisting minions with starter items, usually is the case. So you're able to kind of get in there a little bit more with starter items. But in
There's
a
a lot
world
of people that
without
play
starter
regular
items,
Joust, just not
you're
ranked
kind of
Joust.
really missing that mana regen. So this is going to both help your allies if you want to pick
These
up the
buffs
buff
are
yourself,
OP.
and it's also going to help you out as the tank if you want to get aggressive. I'm thinking like your Ardios, your Terras, people that are kind of searching for those little hits are going to get that mana restore very frequently, which will be very helpful to them. So those kind of characters are the ones that should be picking up this buff. Usually it was the mage that gets this sometimes in the early game, but now that there is an aura, you're not as mad about giving it to your
right?
tank.
Yeah.
Right.
Tanks could pick it up, but they've got to get active, right, to
Yes.
get the full benefit. All right, and then last up, the red buff. Going to grant some physical and magical power, but also going to increase physical and magical power by 20%.
Yes, and that is a big number.
It's a lot.
Beefy.
That's a lot.
Bro, these
So
buffs
again,
are
your power
cracked.
characters are going to love this, but this is, again, kind of a game ender. Once you get that red buff, there's only one on the whole map, right? So you got to make
This
sure that
is
you're
gonna
getting
be
that, especially towards the later
snowbally,
end of
dude.
the game, because that is going
This
to
is gonna
boost
be
your power by
crazy
quite a large sum.
snowball.
And again, your mages, your hunters, any character that's doing ability damage, even if you want to go full damage assassin, this is another really great option for you to be able to get in there and end those games.
Cool.
I think
Well,
it's going to be
let's move on from
fighting
buffs
between
and talk
red
about
and
some
purple. Like one team's
structures
going to take
here.
red and one team's
Powers
going
and
to take purple.
Phoenixes, the big thing is their shots are going to now apply protection shred. Is that right?
Yes.
Making them a little less safe underneath those towers, you know, from again,
Just
multiple
Joust.
tanks
I thought it was gonna be in
diving,
Conquest.
trying to disincentivize that and just make sure that the towers and phoenixes and Joust.
They are
can
trying to get
feel
people
a
not
little,
to be able to
underwhelming
build
at
tank
times,
as
especially
easily
on
in
those
these
front
game
liners.
modes, which is kind of
This
sick.
should make a big difference for that.
And just want to remind everyone, this is Joust only. We're switching
Joust
things up.
only.
We'll get to Duel in a little bit, but just want to make it clear that we're talking about Joust only. I know we got a lot of Duel mains. We'll get to y'all in just a second. So for Joust only, let's talk about lane minions. What are we doing with lane minions for Joust?
Yeah, so these guys, I believe, are getting just a little bit buffed up. Just kind of across the board, health, power, protections to have parity with Conquest.
Dual
So the minions
players,
between
easy,
Conquest
easy.
and Joust will now feel exactly the same if you're playing Neath in Joust and you're playing Neath in Conquest. That clear speed will be basically the same now.
All right, and then last up for Joust only, we've got buff camps. Just playing around a little bit with the XP values for the camps here. So we're decreasing the XP reward on the buff holder and the gold reward, but we're increasing the XP on the buff guard, just still decreasing a little bit of the gold for that reward on the
I feel
guard
like these
as well.
changes didn't need to be
And across the board, just
talked about
increasing
at
the
all,
reward
but
from
that's
all
just me.
minions as well to kind of, again, incentivize. I'm trying to get to late game. This is how I'm going to do it by farming efficiently all across the map, making sure that I'm maintaining all of those buffs and stealing buffs even if I have to. I mean,
right.
that is one way to actually get ahead even further than before. So making sure that your carries are actually hitting that parity. Because in general, carry items are more expensive than tank items. So to kind of lose that gold generation from the tanks and to lose that kind of sustain and then late game kind of transferring that to a big starter item is going to, hurt the damage of those characters a lot. We understand that. And this is kind of the way that we're going to compensate it is by giving you more ability to get more items sooner.
Earn, baby. Thank you for the 4
that
months.
wraps up for Joust. Let's talk about Duel, and we'll kick
not
it
talk
off
about
with
Duel.
the big one, the Duel Orb.
Yes.
A brand new feature coming to Duel. Lermy, talk to me about the Duel Orb. What is it? What are its goals? And how is it going to work?
So Duel is a really interesting game mode where a lot of the time you
AC
are
attack stun
experiencing one of two
towers
things. Either
for
you
3
have just kind of been
seconds?
sitting there forever, back and forth, poking each other, going back to base, poking back to base. But this time we really want to incentivize
that
fighting.
seems
And so
busted
how this is going to work is anytime a god
What?
dies, if you're able to go and pick up this orb, which expires after 5 seconds, so really quite quickly
Very quick.
after the death of the enemy god, you pick it up, you get movement speed, and your basic attack stun towers for 15 seconds. So again, not that long, but what this kind of helps with is maybe you're a character that doesn't push towers very well, but you want to play something weird. You want to play your King Arthurs,
Right,
your
yeah.
Krakens. This is going to be great for them to kind of, make
I
that,
wonder if dual players like
difference
this.
between hunters
Like, I
and
wonder if
mages a
Rexy
little bit
likes
more fair.
this
And if you're a character
or
that
not.
kind of needs to play a little bit safe, it will reward you for getting
I
a
feel
little
like
bit more
this is,
active
makes
getting
the
in
duels
there
go
and,
faster.
being able to get
you get
those
one
kills,
kill,
especially in the early game.
instant
So
tower,
being
instant
able to
Phoenix.
push when the respawn timers are so short still is very important to kind of unlocking the game. And there are times as well that can really feel
Well, this
like
isn't
the game
backdooring.
is
You have to
slowing
get a
down, and this
kill
is
on a
really there
god to get
encourage
that
people
buff.
to really try to go for that
Backdooring
orb.
is when you kill
And
something when
even
the person's
times,
still
this is
alive, not when
the most
they're
effective
dead.
thing in the world. So this is not a game ender by any means. We've done
I
testing
don't
with
agree
this
that
where,
backdooring is when you kill the god.
if I'm a
Like,
ranged
the god's
character
dead, you're
especially,
just pushing.
and I'm playing, let's see, I don't know, Hebo, and I'm trying to catch someone that's running through the red buff, and they're over the wall from me. I hit them with the spleesh. They're dead. But
It's
I
front
can't get
parking.
over there to pick up my dual orb that's on the ground. Sometimes good positioning from the enemy that you're trying
Bro,
to chase down
this
will
orb
prevent
in
you,
Conquest
from
would
getting that
ruin
good
the game.
reward as
Your
well.
solo
So it's kind of
laner would die 3 times and lose their
two-sided coin
Phoenix.
there, where
Before you even
as
get out
the
your
person
dual
that's
lane.
getting attacked, if you position really well, the enemy
I
might
gotta
not
solo
be
laner go
able
0
to
and
get
8,
their
bro.
reward, even if you die.
My
So
Titan
it's
would be
kind of
dead.
really picking your fights very wisely. That this new kind of objective drop is going to kind of change up the dual gameplay a bit.
It's definitely going to add some interesting metagaming
Oh, yeah.
to the mode.
100%.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out when the patch launches next week. Again, we've got just a couple more changes for duel only.
It is only
the damage
duel.
camp. The buff guard, we're going to be increasing the base health on that.
Yep.
And
Hey,
then
hey.
the XP camp, it's now going to spawn
Almost
3
triple the
small
HP.
tigers. And we're decreasing the XP reward just a little bit and decreasing the gold reward. But there's an extra tiger there at that camp now to kind
Yes.
of compensate.
And that one is not the purple buff. Again, for clarity, purple buff only in Joust.
Yes.
No purple buff in that side XP camp in Duel.
Yep.
So both Joust and Duel on Chinese Joust. Purple buff for Joust. Duel has the XP camp kind of separating the modes a little bit, giving them their own kind of each unique identities. It's definitely interesting to see how those modes are going to shake up.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be a lot more fun.
Yeah, excited to watch some dual content.
There we go.
See how it's working.
Cool. Well, let's move on and get into balance. So we talked a lot about non-conquest modes. So let's talk about some non-conquest balance, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tiger, I'm going to throw this to you because I know this is kind of what you've been working on.
Yeah, so non-conquest balance, we introduced it, I believe it was mid-season last year, and we have intentionally not been super aggressive using this system. We feel like it is better to use non-conquest balance to really address the pole characters. The characters who are way too good in these modes and cause a lot of frustration, and the characters who are way too difficult to play in these situations. Not just because they're hard, but because the more open
we'll get the
maps,
conquest eventually, boys.
Less flanking angles, the more heavy engagements make it very difficult for these gods to do their job like they would in Conquest. So only a few gods being added to the list here. We also recognize that this system does introduce a barrier of knowledge a little bit, so we intentionally don't want to be tweaking every single god. Like I said, just those gods on the polls. So, well, let's start with the buffs, some gods that clearly needed some help. Believe it or not, Kuzenbo is the first on the list, and it's a really small one. He's just taking a little bit less damage moving forward. And for all of you Kuzenbo haters out
There's
there,
your Kuzenbo
keep
buff.
in mind that Shell Spikes reflects the damage he takes, so it doesn't one-shot you quite as much. He'll still.
This
we
is not
think this will help
Conquest,
him
by the way.
actually stay in fights a little bit longer. He's a god who wants to be taking a lot of damage. He was just simply taking a little bit too much, and his CC isn't quite as effective in some of those modes. So we are giving him a little bit less damage taken. Nemesis
Scared of
is
Kuzenbo? I worked
been
Kuzenbo
across
the other
the
day.
board struggling. By far the worst assassin who we haven't addressed. So giving her a little bit more frequent non-ultimate cooldowns. Obviously her ultimate is very, very strong, but needs a little bit of help with those
Nem
other
buff the
abilities. And again,
non-conquest?
a little bit less damage taken, which we've
I'm about
seen
to be a
very
Nem main
effective
in
for
Joust.
these assassins who have to be melee range, who have to be all in. Just making them ever so slightly be able to take a little bit more punishment does a lot for them, and hopefully doesn't increase frustration a whole lot playing against them. And then Olorun, this is a god who in Conquest, his ultimate is unbelievable. And in non-Conquest, his ultimate is also unbelievable.
Yeah.
But when your ultimate is down in Conquest as Olorun, really good Olorun players will be able to position themselves around the map. They just won't go to fights that when they don't have their ultimate, because they're not going to be nearly as effective without it. In non-Conquest, that's not really an option. You know what I mean? So that really long ultimate cooldown we think is important for him in his current state right now. But overall, probably could use a little bit more
about
often,
a slap
in those non-conquest
Ojos.
modes. So other cooldowns unaffected, just his ultimate cooldown for non-Conquest.
Cool. And then we've got a couple non-conquest nerfs coming in 10.5 as well.
Is that
The
anything
first
big,
one up
Barnaby?
is
No, you haven't
Atlas,
yet.
and I just heard Dandy cry.
Yeah,
he's not even here.
Did you know that Dandy has nothing going on?
Right, yeah,
He's not
nothing.
on vacation. He
Yeah.
literally he read the patch notes, saw a non-Conquest Atlas nerf, and protested.
Yeah.
He refused.
But Atlas going to be seeing a nerf to non-conquest, getting plus 5% on non-ultimate cooldowns, and then plus 10% on ultimate cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, that ultimate's game changing.
That ultimate's really good.
It's so good. When you could just throw it down on everybody in the joust lane or everybody in the arena, it's just that's a fight winning ultimate for sure.
100%. And he's been dominant in a lot of these modes for quite some time.
Yep.
He seems to be doing pretty well in Conquest. Not as much of an issue there. That's what this system is for. Yep. He's on the pole of winning a lot of games, probably because Dandy's killing it.
Exactly,
what I
right?
mean?
It's just all his whole win rate, right?
Yeah, he's been doing. It was his fault all along.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have won so many games. Yeah, exactly.
And then next up is Horus. Going to be talking about him again in a little bit. Spoiler alert.
Yes.
But Horus going to be seeing a non-conquest nerf. Going to take some more damage.
Yes.
5% more.
Yeah, so Horus, like Isaiah said, this is not his only change, don't worry. But even
why
with
are we
the change that we are
copy-pasting
making
an
across
assault
all
copy
modes,
pasta?
we felt like Horus was still overperforming a little bit. Just his instant engage is really, really strong. And in particular,
Bro, someone actually said assault is fun. You have to understand the
does
game
a lot of
mode.
damage as a warrior support.
You're never going to get
just
full
making him
build.
a
It
little
takes
bit
no
squishier.
skill. You're running around with 5 people
Also,
killing each
didn't want
other.
to kill all of
Congrats.
the fun for damage Horus enjoyers like myself. So you could still go with that route, just now a little bit more risky.
Cool. All right, well, let's move on and let's talk about items. And our first one is not necessarily an item, but it is a stat that we're addressing.
Is this conquest or non-conquest?
Damage, percent damage mitigation.
Yes.
Making a change here. It's now going to cap at 25%. And before I read all this, I will pass it on to you to explain. Yes, exactly. I'm giving you the alley-oop.
Yes. Lermy, would you like to dunk first?
Sure. First dunk is that we have seen a lot of damage mitigation talk, and this is a very popular suggestion.
Remember when just a month and a half ago you could get 100% mitigation?
So one of the ways that we did address it was by nerfing the build across the board, but we figure this is kind of a future-proofing method that we're going to use to make sure that, you know, if we do make these items meta again, if they do come up in a build that is discovered, you might say, that there is a hard cap on these. And so when I even say hard cap, I don't even really mean hard cap, because there is an exception to this where you're probably wondering, well, what if I get mitigation like 80% from like Baron Alt or something? How does that work with this cap? Well, my friends, it goes over it. So the cap does get ignored by God abilities. If you have any items, it'll stop at 25%. But if you have, let's say, 80% mitigation from whatever ability, you will go up to 80. It is not additive. It will just take you to whatever you were supposed to be with that cap kind of ignored. So let's say like I'm Hades ulting and I get 60%. Obviously 60% above 25, you will stop at 60% because that is above the cap, but that's where you're meant to be. So you will still be brought there with abilities, just not items.
Yeah. And Aegis still makes you full damage.
Yes.
You know, that is.
Can you imagine?
That's
Aegis only does.
I fucking hate you guys.
Have fun.
Oh, okay.
Right?
No, thank you.
That would be a change.
That would be a change.
All right. Well, let's move on and let's talk about an item that's seeing a lot of talk in the community over the past, ever since the change.
I hate you guys so much.
Of the year.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Bloodforge. It's going to be seeing a revert. So still going to have 2,600 gold, 75 physical power.
Oh, what are they doing?
Life steal, 7% movement speed. We're getting rid of.
They reverted it?
Yes. Attack speed is gone. We've heard the community.
Yo, they full reverted this shit back to OG.
Like didn't have a strong competitive identity.
Holy
shit. Was very popular.
This item wasn't had attack speed for a month, 2 months.
And, you know,
So
we
fuck
wanted to
that.
see if we could find this
It's
really
back
good
to an
middle ground
assassin
where all
item.
these
That's
players
why.
who used to love building Bloodforge still really enjoyed it and had this new aspect of it and let it shine a little bit.
Now it's
more
back to
at
a
the higher
Mercury
levels of
item,
play.
bitches.
Needless to say, it shined a little too.
They killed Bloodforge. They made it back to being an assassin item.
Still might be the most popular item in the game, even after it got nerfed.
Exactly. So this, but at the end of the day, we are here to make the game that the community wants to play. And we've heard the overwhelming feedback that the attack speed being on there led to it getting nerfed. And its pick rate and play rate and win rate and all that kind of stuff was
What happened was it was the best item. They nerfed it. It was still one of the best items. They were like, fuck this. We're not nerfing it more and killing the item. We're just going to revert it back to where it was. We fucked up.
Didn't have attack
That's what this
speed. It
is.
was just your high power. And
this
and
is
lifesteal
we're not
item.
going down that
And
fucking.
So it's a no-brainer.
Going down that path.
One important thing to note here, this did get adjusted for the 9.3 healing, or 10.3, sorry.
Yes.
Woo, I took us a year back there, I'm so sorry. Anyway, the 10.3 healing changes, this has a lifesteal
fucking hate
adjusted
all
for
of
that
you
as
guys.
well. So don't worry, not a total revert to, you know, too strong lifesteal-wise, but it'll be in line with everything else.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's move on to Breastplate of Regrowth. Going to be seeing a nerf here. Going to be increasing the cost just a little bit.
Yeah, this item's just really
Oh
cost
shit! Tanks getting hit,
The gameplay
bitches.
around it is very, very fun. Picking up this item, you just love it. You are zooming, you're having a good time. So we don't necessarily want to say stop having a good time, but just, you know, be a little bit more considerate when you commit to buying this
Nerf
item.
the
It's not
tanks.
just like the most cost-effective
Nerf the
physical defense item in the
tanks.
game now. So you're gonna have to compensate for that a little bit more. You know, buy a couple less pots when
There
you
you
go
go.
back to lane.
Yeah.
That's really all you gotta do.
Yep.
A slight little cost increase. So.
Exactly.
All right.
Still
we
a
got
good
a couple
item,
items that
but
are
fuck
new
the
items
tanks.
that just didn't hit like we wanted them to. When we
this is the creep killing one.
Exactly.
What's the creep killing
Cannoneer's
item?
Curious is going to be
Yes,
the
that
first one
one.
we talk about.
Cannoneers.
Aggro, it seems like you want to talk about this one, so I'll pass.
You, man, you know me so well, Isaiah. Yeah, so Cannoneers is an item that, you know, we wanted to hit the early game support identity.
Oh,
Where you
fuck.
can give up some of your own personal stats necessarily. You know, things like Prophetic Cloak we've seen be very, very successful because they're so good for
an
the
extra
support
15
user
gold
and then
every
provide
7
great aura.
seconds.
Cannoneers is a way to help your team
Every
without
wave.
a traditional aura. by walking around and helping people with wave clear and by providing them with a little bit of bonus gold. And it wasn't good enough at doing those things. So we're making it better at exactly what it does. This isn't a full rework.
They're worried about this item being broken. That's why they nerfed the gold provided from 25 to 15.
2,000 gold for a tier 3 item.
Oh,
that's
fuck.
very cheap.
Yo,
and then the
supports
passive,
are not going auras anymore, boys. They're going selfish mode.
It is more per level. And
wait, what's Cannoneer's passive?
Lower than
besides
it used to
the
be
creep killing part,
because the internal cooldown is significantly lower than it used to be. So
look it up.
You actually it scales to a higher level, but I think the base is lower if I remember correctly, or maybe we changed that during development.
Your next successful base attack on an enemy lane minion causes it to explode, instantly killing it. Dealing 50 magic damage to enemies in a small area.
Better into the late game.
Providing 25 bonus gold.
Less gold than you used to. But
what is the damage per level?
Every 7 seconds.
Which is a 13-second buff.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Increases damage per level from 5 to 10.
Multiple
Wait,
times per
what the fuck is
if you're
that?
patient. If your laner is patient, really, is what I should
The
say.
minions?
Support is going to be patient. The laner, even though they're the ones getting the gold.
Right.
Oh, the creep explosion bullshit. We don't even care about that. That's irrelevant.
This will.
That's such a that isn't even an important stat there.
To
the
more
fuck?
players, and we're excited to see if it can make its way into early game support builds.
They just want it to be better late game, I guess.
Hopefully, it gets picked up because I think it's a cool item.
Yeah.
I love when we do new stuff.
Yep.
I love when that new stuff gets played. So, speaking of new stuff, Phalanx.
I don't know if the stats are decent on there. Pretty good on that
Concept
item.
of this item was very, very fun. However,
Now
it
again,
did
some of the
not
buff
turn out
effects
to
that
be as
allied
useful
minions
as we
obtain
had
from
imagined
stat.
it would be. So we are now kind of shifting it up a bit to where you would buy this item and you buff up your minions, and you're like, great, my minions are already dead. That didn't really help me at all. Well, now, even though your minions are also getting buffed, now you are also receiving a buff. So don't worry. The stats on that item are crazy in terms of what the minions get. So you will be getting, you'll see the stats go down in the description, but that's because the minions are receiving double what you are getting. So, your minions are getting quite a lot of stats, but you are getting, still a solid amount. And this is really good for those characters.
I wonder if Cannoneers in the jungle out of a jungler would work. Like you just run into a lane and smack the lane and then leave.
In between those abilities, or Osiris is one that immediately
like if
comes
that
to mind.
insta clears the lane,
these characters
you can just leave and get free gold over and over again.
Hit you and the wave to group them up together. You can kind of force yourself in there, buff up your minions, buff up yourself, and then you will be boxing.
I still think Phalanx is ass.
Yeah, I think,
wait.
This item is you're gonna feel it.
21 protections and 30% attack speed.
Items that have very strong effects but aren't immediately noticeable.
First item Bellona, first item Osiris. They're buffing Osiris items when Osiris is getting a cool skin.
Don't feel it.
Question mark?
Who cares?
Right.
That you're there to. That's what makes Smite so great, is that you're in the action. You are right there. You're gonna feel this buff now, and your minions will too.
Oh yeah,
that's actually gonna be spicy as fuck, boys.
Let's move on. Stone of Gaia up next, getting a buff
solo
here,
laners
with a cost decrease and actually decreasing the cooldown by 5 seconds too.
Yeah, Stone of Gaia is one that again
why.
has been popular talking point in the community. This item is in a weird spot. I think it's important for us to acknowledge because this is an item that's built. Its identity is built.
This item has always been OP
sustain,
or shit,
and we just did
never
a lot of
been
changes to make
like just a solid core item.
So that left Gaia in a very weird spot. We have heard a lot of the suggestions about what to do with it. We've talked about it a lot. We think this is the best path forward for Stone of Gaia right now, is just making it a little bit cheaper and having that internal cooldown of the big burst of healing that you get whenever you get knocked up or grabbed or anything like that. Just making that a little bit more consistent, keeping it within its identity.
It's probably pretty good now against anyone with consistent knockups.
While just making it a little bit more
so you aren't getting poked out.
Cool.
But honestly, that Phalanx change, I'm wondering if we're going to see Osiris and Bellona play now.
Spicy one here.
And Amos.
Coming up next, and then we've got a fun one to close off. But Spectral Armor. Going to be seeing a little bit of a shift in 10.5. I know crit has been a topic of the town.
Yes.
Over the past couple of updates. So
yep.
Just a little bit.
What's happening with Spectral?
They say they want it to be fun to get crit, right? That's what we've been told. Make it feel good to get crit when you have Spectral. So go ahead, Lermy. You let them know.
So you still have the decreased damage from critical strikes. You still have the aura of getting decreased crit or damage from critical strikes to all your allies as well that are near you.
Still ass.
Now you have an additional passive that when you are hit, your power is increased for 6 seconds, and it can stack up to 3 times. So
you guys are high as fuck, bro.
The stronger that they are against you, so you've got to be really careful.
Once your crit
what
45 power on who matters?
Yes. Yeah, making those.
If I'm a late game hunter,
I might be
auto attacking a late game solo laner. I don't give a fuck if they have 45 power.
Times on Spectral in trying to find the right niche for it, and hopefully this is one that the community really likes.
Yeah. All right, last item, War Flag, going to be getting a buff. Yep. I know War Flag has been an item that people have wanted to pick up, hasn't felt the best in the past. So what's going on with War Flag?
Yeah, this is just normalizing it with the other support starters. It requiring you to have the lowest gold on your team is a common part of the upgrades to the starter item gold components, but wasn't present on the other ones. War Flag did end up having that on its base version, and that made it very difficult for
building
those early game
Spectral on
moments.
junglers. Bro, if you only have Spectral and you get crit 3 times, you're dead.
Probably won't make
you have to have a full defense build to not be dead at that point. You guys are high.
It just makes it more consistent.
Are we playing the same Smite game?
Gold matters.
You aren't even building crit now anyway.
You can count on I'm getting.
But you're still gonna die if you're autoed fucking 3 times.
Doing my thing, and I'm not.
You're also gonna have used all your abilities by the time you've been autoed 3 times.
In the later stages of the game, we do think that's an important.
Y'all are fucking drunk, I think.
To make sure that not every role just buys these support starter upgrades at level 15, because that's obviously very strong. So. Just making it a little bit more consistent.
That War Flag change should have been done a long time ago.
All right, well, that wraps it up for items. Let's move on to gods, and then we've got Hell up first. Going to be seeing a nerf in 10.5.
Kill it. Kill it.
Decreasing the heal on Restoration and decreasing the self-heal on Inspire. So basically, it's just decreasing the healing a little bit, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Less healing.
Just less healing. Yeah, I mean, we did a lot of changes to a lot of healers. You know, Aphrodite's obviously been through
nerfed all of her
ringer.
healing.
Hell, it took a little bit longer for her
healing
to
and her 3 healing.
Build back up.
Kill it.
And we've obviously seen her really be very strong in pro play. And just looking at the healing numbers, as we said, we were going to be taking a very close eye at those numbers in particular. You're going to see a lot of healers or gods with healing that got changes. As promised at the beginning of Season of Hope, those were going to be gods that continue to get adjustments as needed. Hell's healing numbers are higher than we want them to be, so we're just bringing them down, basically across the board. Yep. So Restoration is the Light Stance 1, Inspire is the Light Stance 3, and that is affecting herself and allies and minions for the 3.
All right. Let's move on. We got a few more nerfs here. Hercules going to be up next. Hercules has been real good.
Real good
over the past season. So we've got Driving Strike,
reverting the stun already,
and Earthbreaker increasing the cooldown. Just as combo.
They just reverted the cooldown changes that they just gave him.
Slow him down a little bit.
This is just why doesn't this say revert? This is a revert.
Cooldowns impacts clear.
They just took 1 second off of both abilities, and now they put them back.
Will change, that laning that you kind of have to deal with this combo.
This is a revert.
Even if you're not in Conquest, he can be a beast. If you're playing up against the good Hercules, he's pulling you into towers, he's pulling you into his team. Just a little bit less often for this guy, because we did see that Herc was struggling a lot at the beginning of the year. Yeah. So now that he's finally good, we're happy to see him played again. But he is
his patch is Chronos Ultimate
right now. We got to.
They reverted Blood Force. They're reverting
these really aren't
Hercules.
His only nerfs, because he is the Breastplate of Regrowth abuser, and that getting a cost increase, you can basically chalk up.
Herc's getting double nerfed, and basically the only buff he has now from their buffs is the 3 having attack speed.
I've got seeing one more. I'm scrolling on this list here.
Next up, we've got Horus seeing a nerf here, increasing the cooldown on Protector Surge.
Yeah, so in the Season of Hope launch,
didn't they lower this from 15 to 10?
A little bit on Horus. It was a god that hadn't been meta for a while.
Back up to
this
13.
Ability is really fun to be mobile with around the battlefield. We took 6 seconds off the cooldown. That's got to be the most reduction we've ever done in one patch.
Nope.
In
Baka Sura 2, bitch.
The other time in the sun.
You took 7 seconds off Baka 2.
He was flying high.
And so we're just cutting that in half.
Horus isn't dead, I don't bro. This motherfucker's still OP.
That means that
his heal isn't what's OP. His heal is just his extra movement.
To go on to 10. It would definitely make him a little
2
bit
is what's
strong,
broken on the god.
Sometimes if we just do these little tiny increments of buffs, then they have to stack up to a huge stack before players really pick them up. This way, Horus got his little time, and now he'll be in a hopefully more balanced state that feels more fair to play with and against, and people who have been playing Horus and seeing a lot of success probably will still see a lot of success with him.
Exactly.
But just flying around a little less.
All right, one more nerf for 10.5. We've got Vimana. And this nerf section is kind of thick here.
Beefy.
The big baby has been bodying people.
So they're killing him.
They're
going to kill Vamana.
Increasing the cooldown, and then Colossal Fury, we're going to be decreasing the physical power. But there's also a bug fix in here where it was providing a base shield amount per tick rather than a percentage of Vamana's max health.
Yes, so there actually was a bug where, the number was a certain amount, but you were only getting, 100 per tick?
So Vamana really wasn't even getting the full shield when he was OP.
It was 100 per tick. I think it was even lower. Yeah, it was really low.
So he was experiencing that success with that level of bug happening. So of course we need to adjust
so this bug fix is going to buff
from
him.
where it was before to kind of
decrease power gain by 15.
When he got that added lifesteal on it as well. No more healing in that ultimate, and now it's just shielding. So we are taking that down, and we're also introducing a shield cap, so he cannot gain more than 1,000 effective HP, or shielding HP, you might say, while the ultimate is active. So if you've broken through that shield completely, he's not going to regen anymore after that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Even if he is still continuing on.
That's actually sick. So it's a cap total shield of 1,000.
Who's building mostly damage, a little bit less effective because that shield tick won't be quite as high as if you were building full defense Vamana.
Yes, it scales off of your.
Yeah, so he's getting nerfed, but
hopefully he won't be terrorizing.
Probably better than he currently is.
Hasten katana and crit, just
we'll see.
Running
he
me
doesn't
down
heal
in the jungle.
in his ult.
We'll
he
see,
shields himself.
Speaking of the jungle, we've got a dodgy buff.
Ooh.
Buff for one of my favorite assassins.
She's been underperforming for people.
Decreasing the cooldown.
Yep.
Actually, is another contentious SPL discussion that has happened before in the past, and that has to do a lot with the ultimate. So we said, okay, Dashi is performing, you might say, very bad.
You could say that, and it would be an understatement, probably.
So we were like, okay, how do we?
Wait, she's performing the worst, and you only buffed her 3?
That
by
ultimate
2 seconds?
The burst is, especially.
And it's not even 2 seconds.
So one
it's
of the ways that
upgraded
we could do this
by
is by
2
touching
seconds.
Trickster Spirit, and especially that cooldown. I mean, 17 seconds is really long, especially
This
because
isn't going to make her better if she's underperforming that badly.
So taking it down to 17 to 15, the more that you level it, it's just
I don't think Daji's bad either. I think her cooldowns and shit probably are way too high, but this should have been a flat change to 15.
Forward to that. And next up, we've got Hachiman going to be seeing a buff here. Lots of buffs here, some spicy ones. Do you want to just walk me through it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So when talking about passives, we see a lot of discussions on Reddit, which are some of my favorite threads to read on, like, oh, what passives do you guys like? Which ones need some help? All that kind of stuff. Hachiman passive has always been a little underwhelming, and intentionally so. He is supposed to be a very new player-friendly hunter.
Wait,
he
this
fits
is
that
huge.
niche very well, but the passive
is
needed a
huge.
little bit of love.
Hold on.
So
hold on.
Simply just adding a new component.
Fuck,
to
they
the
just made
passive. It's
Hachi the
still
best
functioning
ADC.
exactly the same way. Hit your basics, get a buff. Instead of just MP5, you're now going to get MP5 and attack speed as you're hitting these stacks. So this stacks up to 5 times, and you get increased benefit per Hachiman's level.
I think Hachi's underrated right now, and this is going to make him
just
busted.
The MP5 number, but
no, 20% at max level at level 20
as well. Yeah. And that's going to max out at 20% attack speed at level 20 if you have your passive
did you send me?
stacked.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter.
We didn't feel like that was quite enough, though. Hachiman's been a little bit out of the meta for a little bit, so also increase the damage on Eagle Eye. Now it was 10 to 30 plus 110%. Now it's 20 to 60 plus 120%. I can tell you from playtesting,
they're double
you feel
buffing
this
him?
difference.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's
he's hitting
a lot of
pretty
damage.
hard and helping differentiate.
Yo, his one is going to hit hard as fuck. Hachi's the best ADC in the game.
Faster.
Hachi's the best ADC in the game.
Now his are the same speed, but
they just made Hachi the best ADC in the game. Holy shit!
Making that a little bit more noticeable. And then Heavenly Banner, after 9.5 last year, minions got tankier, gods got tankier.
Congrats!
Some of these abilities
Hachi's back, boys.
used to feel like effective poke.
Or sorry, not his 3, it's 2. I don't know why I said it's 3.
The same way anymore. Heavenly Banner is a great
his
example.
His 1 buff, his 2 buffs, his passive is insane now.
It's really oppressive because this is a very easy ability.
Yo, there's some shit passes in the game. When are they going to buff the other one?
Just a tiny bit to help him with wave clear.
Yep.
Cool. All right, next up, Jormungandr getting a buff. I know Jormungandr hasn't been doing too hot.
Fuck Jorm.
So
Set's happy now.
Buff here, decreasing the cooldown on Consuming Bellow.
That's it.
And then Submerge. We've got a bug fix here where Jorm would lose movement speed provided when he was revealed. And we're also decreasing the cooldown on that Submerge
Thank you for the sub, man.
Yeah, so this buff is pretty huge for Virtuoso because as long as I can remember,
cooldown changed to
you
his
lost the
3.
movement speed when you are hit, revealed, anything with Submerge, but now you get to keep it. So you're going to be a speedy little snake hanging out in the ground, and you're also going to be able to do it a little bit more often, and your main clear, consuming Balo, going down by 1 second, I mean, that's just going to help him be that lane bully that he's trying so desperately to be.
Exactly.
Did someone just say chalk passive when I said there are some worthless passives?
Seeing an increase to the base damage.
Bro,
so
wake the fuck up, bitch.
Got a non-conquest buff and just get an overall buff as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just a little bit more base damage. This is on the little meteor shots from your 2 once you stack it up.
2's damage.
Again, an ability that we know can feel very potent.
Leave the mage ADCs out the meta for a little while longer.
In Conquest, so don't want to give it too much more scaling or anything like that. But his wave clear is actually pretty good. If you haven't played Olaron in a while, you actually fight really well on the early wave, but your
Blasphemous Hachi passive now gives attack speed.
Not quite as threatening at times, so just trying to up that a little bit and make it feel really
now he has a busted
full
fucking passive. And Persephone's passive
buff,
is the most worthless passive in Smite, if you really want to be honest.
Combo with your support,
Persephone has a passive that does literally nothing at any point in the game ever.
A little bit hit or miss, because it is a little bit random, but if they're standing still,
Hachi passive gives 20% attack speed now at max rank.
We had a few warrior nerfs towards the top of the balance section, but
we haven't had an AA jungle meta yet. Not pure AA, just the crit.
Going to be seeing generally just an increase to his base HP 5 and his base physical protections, and then Spirit Flail going to be increasing the
Haven't
damage.
seen like Kali, Osiris, Bologna.
Content day.
Yeah, the tier list.
I saw
it was like
it was D.
Yeah,
it was D. Yeah. I don't know if this is getting him all the way up to
New
A.
skin equals Osiris buffs. Osiris getting triple buffed here.
Osiris is always a tough case because he's been so
this
good
getting extra
at
damage,
times,
not a lot.
particularly in the jungle as a flex pick, and there aren't a whole lot of knobs that only affect his solo lane and don't affect his jungle.
Osiris is shit
but
in the
things
solo
like HP 5 matter more to solo laners, than junglers typically.
Same with protection.
Same with protection. So yeah, hoping that he is just a little more durable in lane as a warrior without any in-kit sustain.
A little bit faster clear as well. You know, he used to be this crazy lane bully that would clear
they
so
buffed
fast
Hachi,
and beat you
3
up at the
buffs
same
on
time.
Hachi. Hachi's the best hunter in the game now.
That for a little bit of time, and especially because of the damage mitigation changes.
They made Hachi's 1 OP.
Sure
I think it's better than Ishtar's long range now.
Case for that change as well.
Hachi 1 late game is gonna fucking insta fucking kill your ass.
Is something that we want to focus on.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see how it turns out. And speaking of excited to see how it turns out, we talked about this one a little bit before the show.
Yes.
Set is going to be seeing a shift, and I know there's a lot to it. So Aggro, I'm going to throw to you to walk us through it.
Yeah. So there was a bug with Set where sometimes it would go your Sandstorm, your 3 would go on cooldown as soon as you teleported to a spawn, and that was not how it was supposed to necessarily function.
That was causing another bug as well.
Right, it was causing another bug. Exactly, thank you.
Where your 3 would continue flashing basically forever, and you would not be able to use your 3, and that's not good for Set.
Like that. Yeah, it's pretty important to his kit. So in fixing that, we kind of talked about it and figured out that we feel like this is a much more clear and consistent way for this ability to function. So
this is a shift.
The way it used to work was Sandstorm would go on cooldown either when it ran out, if you didn't teleport, or once you teleported, then it would go on cooldown. Now, no matter when, if you teleport or not,
sounds like they're fixing a bug.
The cooldown will not start on Sandstorm until the Sandstorm has finished.
The way it should have been the whole time.
Because Sandstorm lasts for a good amount of time, if you were insta-teleporting, this would have been a massive nerf.
That's a
and it would have
big
been a nerf
cooldown
to the base
change.
version as well, I believe. So we're decreasing the cooldown from 14 seconds
massive
to 10 seconds.
cooldown
However,
change.
it is not a 4-second reduction. Do not worry. It is going to be a buff if you didn't teleport, if from old set to, set before 10.5 to set after 10.5. Before 10.5, if you let the full duration go out, I think it was 16 seconds was effectively the cooldown. Now it'll be a little bit better at 14 seconds. If you were insta-teleporting, 10 seconds will be a little bit longer than what it was, but it's just more consistent. It's more clear for a character that is already quite complex, and
it's 16 seconds total.
Obvious what's happening.
Well,
whenever
now
your
it's
Sandstorm runs out,
that's the
ability
thing.
goes on cooldown. That's all you really have to know.
Easy to understand.
Simple. Yep.
Simple and clean.
That makes sense.
All right, we've got another.
Not much of a
this is our
shift,
second
though.
kind of targeted mage ADC buff. Soul going to be getting a buff in 10.5 with Radiance, seeing just a decrease in her cooldown for that.
Yeah, so Soul had, a bit of fun in the sun, you might say, at the beginning of the
I want you to keep your sustain
season,
up and your
with the rest
passive
of
up
the
at all
May Day
times
season, a really
without
fun ring tree
taking
that was pretty
the time
strong
to
at that
auto
point.
anything.
Really
But,
big rings,
That's crazy.
doing really big things, yeah.
Exactly.
Fuck
But
ADC
one thing that
mages.
we noticed is
I
that
hate
when
'em.
that ring tree kind of went out, we saw a lot less Soul. And Soul is still very good at, that early game being able to clear a lot. And one thing that we wanted to avoid, even though Soul is not doing very well, is her lane clear. Being so good with her passive, being incredible for scaling those autos and attack speed, and her 2 being pretty solid clear as well. So we were like, what's one thing that we can do that's not really going to change that all that much? And that's Radiance. And so this is going to give her a little bit of extra sustain, depending on how low you are, of course, and it's going to maybe contribute to that lane clear, but it's mostly used as a defensive tool, getting that heat up. We just want to give players more of a chance to be able to use it defensively, and this will help her in a variety of situations without, making that PvP damage, you might say, too crazy.
And just a god that got changed in Season of Hope launch as a god with infinite sustain. Yeah. She was actually more heavily affected than most other gods with healing abilities of this magnitude. So instead of walking that back, feel like it's better to just give it to her a little bit more often. Helps her with her clear a little bit, as Lermy said, and with that heat generation, like she mentioned as well.
It makes sense to me. Well, we've got Sun Wukong up next, getting a buff here. To the Magic Cudgel, just getting an increase to the base damage on that.
I was going to say, it's going to be a damage increase, dude.
Bang.
These abilities that used to feel like their poke damage was not like, oh my god, I'm chunked, but like, oh, that actually hit me.
Yeah.
When was the last time a Wukong Magical Cudgel hit you and you were like, ow, that actually
It
hurt?
shouldn't. They're tank warriors, bro. Why would it? Why?
It's only 10 base damage, so it's not going to make a massive difference, but this is
supposed
also
to do a whole bunch of
help him
damage.
keep up with the wave clear. We feel like his player damage isn't too bad. It's more that his clear was pretty heavily affected with minions becoming tankier. He used to be a premier wave pusher in the solo lane, not really fulfilling that role quite right now.
And this damage is also getting affected
Wukong
by the
still
bonus
sucks in my opinion.
Correct.
This ability has
He's
as well.
trash.
So a little bit of extra against minions.
A little extra.
Pre or post
Sylvanas
change
is
to
up
this
next.
one.
Going to be seeing a buff here. Wisps
Another
are going to
buff?
be getting increased minion effectiveness for their
They
healing.
really want
And then
these.
Nature's Grasp going to be seeing
Why? Sylvanas already wins
one of the biggest changes
lane.
that happened in the Season of Hope launch patch was that Wisps now affect minions again.
Yeah.
But it turns out that Sylvanas' healing was actually not what we expected it to be. It was a lot lower. We were very surprised by that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we noticed is that 25% of the healing was just a small number that you really couldn't even notice it on the wave. So we want to just give it a little bit of a bump. Again, this is just the minions. And then, of course, with him not doing that much healing, and especially with him just overall not feeling very great, we felt like we had to do another step forward. So just giving players more opportunity to hit that pull that's so difficult to hit, but really exciting when you do hit it. Just
so clutch.
Yep.
Feels so good.
More opportunities to go for it. Just throw it out, see if you can get it, and now you just have more chances to do it.
Sometimes you just got to YOLO the pull and just see what happens, right?
I feel like
no
every
vision,
time,
like
I feel like every time we're like, okay, Sylvanas needs a buff, we all just go, well, we could just buff the cooldown.
Right?
Of
This isn't gonna change anything. You guys are high as fuck.
In season 18 of Smite, Nature's Grasp is going to be a
cooldown changes are always value,
and he's going to be
cool,
really fun.
but it's not going to change the creep surviving. They're still going to get cleared. Sylvanas still going to win lane all the time.
I'm liking this one. I read it before the show. So Lawbringer, the ultimate ability, going to be getting a little bit of spice, a little seasoning on top.
Just a little bit.
Depending on what stance you are, it's now going to have a new effect. So in guard stance, if you hit Lawbringer, it's now going to stun enemies hit for 1 second. And then in assault stance,
oh
after
my
the ultimate
god,
tier, 25%
jungle tier is
increased damage
fucking back, boys.
Yeah, so this is a popular community suggestion to give tier different effects based on which
Jungle
stance he's in for the
tier
ultimate.
is here,
And,
bitches.
with this new season structure,
It's ultimate a one shot or stun.
We're figuring
Your
out
choice.
what we want our dev schedule to look like, all that kind of stuff. And it's been beginning of the season, obviously big changes, Season of Hope, healing rework. All
People
that
are
kind
gonna
of stuff.
struggle with
Second
that though,
patch
because
of
you're
the
gonna have to
season,
stun.
new god.
You have to ult in, swap
Michelle.
stances, and then use your one.
Go player.
Third patch, right before the new season, as we said at the beginning of the year, these will not be as big because we're gearing up for that really big patch that's about to come. But it kind of gives us this opportunity to make some targeted little changes to these gods that have really needed a little bit of extra development
Tier
time.
jungle's back.
And tier, we were all really excited to do this. Popular community
He's
suggestion.
back.
So, and I think that the theming that we went with here.
Wait,
really
what
makes a
is
lot of
tier's
sense.
ult hit
Guard
for?
stance is defensive. It's your initiating ultimate. You know, it's how you want to start a fight by stunning out the enemy team, getting yourself a chance to get that fearless off. Your more potent fearless, you're going to need to change stance, so it does give a little bit of a window unless they're like right underneath you for them to get out of it, because that is a pretty big landing area. And then offense stance is all about the damage.
Here's all in for 600 plus 120% of your power.
Get ready to get.
It's gonna hit for 25% more.
Get tiered, yeah.
Get dunked. I still remember very clearly.
Wait, is that
watching
overall
an
increase
early
or is
Dry
it
Bear tier video when I was just getting into Smite.
Hold the fucking
when tier had just come out. And
so
he
his ult about hit for like
landed
1400
directly on top of a Cupid. He hit them dead center. And I have never. It may have been the most satisfying moment of any Smite thing. I've like. Tier is one of those gods that just has one of the best cinematic ults in the game.
Oh yeah.
It's been
Jungle
underwhelming
tier.
for a long time. All of the
Jungle
spectacles
tier,
and
boys.
the animation, not so much the effect. Now
Jungle
the effect
fucking
will
tier.
be there as well.
You're gonna get one shot by a tier ult.
Hopefully see more tiers. Maybe
Because
not.
you're gonna have Heartseeker,
Crusher.
See what I did there? If you go Crusher,
had to work in
Heartseeker,
one
Crusher.
Dandy
What else
is much
could you go
better
for
at this
extra
than I am
damage?
now, but that wraps it up for all of our balance changes for the show. Aggro, Lermy, thanks so much for joining us.
I'm just gonna
Community,
Hydras
thanks so
just to
much for
fucking
tuning in
slam
and
your ass.
watching. PTS will be up later on this afternoon. Keep an eye out on all of our Smite Game socials. We'll be sure to let you all know. Is there anything else that I need to let you all know about?
I think it's the Dev Insight show.
Yes, the Dev Insight show is right after this.
Yep.
It's going to be super awesome. A little sneak peek. We're going to be starting a podcast. That's going to be
right.
next week. Yeah.
Next
So
week.
Titan Forge podcast next Thursday, same time if you want to tune into that.
Yep.
Join us for that. But other than that, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you all next time. Be easy.
Peach it.
Bye.
There's the patch notes, boys.